Over the years, ATLUS has created a bevy of beloved casts in the Megami Tensei franchise, from Persona's Phantom Thieves to Digital Devil Saga's Embryon, but very few of them can claim to be as widely liked within the community as the Kuzunoha clan. First seen in Devil Summoner, the Kuzunohas act as detectives publicly, but in the shadows, serve as modern shamans who defend the citizens of Japan from the supernatural. Audiences instantly fell in love with this dynamic, and thanks to art director Kazuma Kaneko's fashion sensibilities, their stylish members have consistently remained a major topic of interest for 3 decades. But despite the fanfare, very little concrete information is known about the group, much less accessible. So now, with Soul Hacker 2's fairly recent release, and a remaster of Raidou Kuzunoha on the horizon, many fans feel that there's a very real possibility of a full rebirth of the Devil Summoner series. Then what better time than now to attempt to piece together the origins, structure, and activities of the Kuzunoha clan. The history of the Kuzunoha clan begins with their ancient ancestors, the Hara clan. Unlike the Kuzunoha, the Hara clan were a group who did actually exist in real life. According to the Nihon Shoki, which is Japan's second oldest historical record, the Hara immigrated to Japan during the Kofun period, around 300 CE. Among modern scholars, it's generally believed that the Hara clan originated from the kingdom of Shilla in modern-day Korea. However, the fact that the Hara weren't native Japanese gives them a sort of air of mystery that lends itself well to pseudo-history and conspiracy theory. The most prominent of these is what's referred to as the Japanese-Jewish Common Ancestry theory. Many longtime Megaten fans may already be familiar with this theory through our friend Eriker's article, but for those who aren't, this theory argues that the Hara clan were originally one of the lost tribes of Israel, who were expelled from the region after being conquered by the Assyrians. Modern proponents of this theory believe that they traveled from the Kingdom of Israel to India, then China, and finally settled in Japan. The Hara's depiction in the OG Devil Summoner appears to be a twist on this sort of concept, where instead of Israel, a small subset were from ancient Sumer. So over 1,000 years before the events of the story, the Hara clan arrived in Japan in 300 CE. Here, they quickly integrated themselves and began supporting the rule of the Yamato dynasty by utilizing their advanced technology to construct grand buildings and protect the nation against natural disasters. However, the Hara clan, having migrated to Japan from continental Asia, were a group that consisted of multiple communities and ethnicities, and the branch clan Hirosaki managed to create a distinct identity for themselves within the region. The Hirosaki had settled in modern-day Hirosaki City, a fictional town where Devil Summoner's story is set, and established their own monarchy. But what made them truly unique was that unlike the rest of the Hara, as we discussed earlier, the Hirosaki's ancestors emigrated from Asia Minor. This gave them special magical powers, including the ability to summon demons. These abilities were used to perform simple tasks and lower the amount of labor required for everyday life in ancient times. This inadvertently incurred the wrath of both the imperial court and the broader Hara clan, who believed that the Hirosaki's supernatural powers threatened their legitimacy, and so the two colluded against the Hirosaki. Faced with the full force of the Imperial Army and the futuristic technology of those they thought were their allies, the Hirosaki were gravely outnumbered and eventually defeated, leading to the execution of the entire Hirosaki royal family. In the aftermath, the remains of the clan were allowed to surrender by assimilating back into the Hara clan, but only under the condition that they could no longer use their magic abilities. However, over time, darkness will consume the soul of the deceased Hirosaki princess Inaruna, and her afterlife grudge would turn her into an Onryo, or vengeful spirit, who caused a series of strange supernatural events to occur on the Hirosaki's land. This forced the merged Hara clan to use their banned feng shui techniques previously passed down by the Hirosaki to seal her in her tomb through the use of a pentagram. With the wrath of Inaruna quelled, the Hirosaki's chapter of history was quietly ended. While the clan would eventually be forgotten by history, their descendants wouldn't. The powers of the Hirosaki would be passed down across generations and manifest throughout Japan. Many of the successors of their bloodline would gain prominence as legendary mystics, such as Abe no Seme, his rival Ashiya Doman, the founder of Shugendo and no Ozuno, and last but certainly not least, the members of the Kuzunoha clan. There is no single confirmed date for the formation of the Kuzunoha clan, but the two known possibilities are either during the early Asuka period or the Heian period. However, there are multiple statements that by the time of Raidou XIV, the clan had already existed for 1,000 years. So we have a rough estimation of 538 CE to 930 CE. Likewise, the exact identity of the original Kuzunoha is unclear, but they were known as a master of ancient Shinto and Amyodo techniques. Now, this context is very important. The term Amyodo refers to a native Japanese form of magic focused around divination. Amyodo, or literally the way of yin-yang, was influenced by a wide variety of belief systems, such as Taoism, Buddhism, and of course Shinto, among others. In Megami Tensei, Amyodo is often viewed as an early version of devil summoning, because its practitioners, known as Amyoji, utilize Shikigami, which function as familiars in a similar fashion to demons. In ancient Japan, it was viewed as important enough to justify an entire government bureau based around it, where the director would report directly to the emperor regarding astrological matters. The most famous Amyoji in history is the aforementioned Abe no Same, and his skill was so great that after his death, he became a legendary figure. Abe no Seme was said to have been born half-human, to a mother who was a white kitsune, or fox spirit named Kuzunoha, the namesake of the clan and inspiration behind their symbol, the fox. It may be implied that Abe no Seme is a direct ancestor to the clan, if not him personally being the founder, as there is an account of them being referred to as a Heian period Amyoji. And if we go back to the furthest end of our estimation for the founding of the Kuzunoha, it's only a decade away from the birth of Abe no Seme in 921. Further, the Kuzunoha's use of Amyodo also implies a familiar relation to the ancient Hara clan members who sealed Princess Inaruna, because Amyodo was created through a fusion of philosophies and techniques, including feng shui and mujing, that was utilized in her tomb. During his lifetime, the original Kuzunoha was accompanied by 4 followers, who were likewise very skilled devil summoners, and together they formed the Kuzunoha clan. Because of this, the clan is structured as having 5 main families, with one acting as the head. Each of these families has immortalized their respective founders by passing down their titles to the strongest active members of their family. The holders of 4 of these titles are referred to as Great Summoners, or in Japanese, the Kuzunoha's 4 Heavenly Kings, referencing the Buddhist devas who watch over the cardinal directions. These are very highly regarded positions, and each one plays a specific role in the clan. However, only 2 of the 4 titles have been officially confirmed, Raidou Kuzunoha and Garen Kuzunoha, who respectively protect the imperial capital and Tsukigata village. There is not much else known about each family, but it's said that the Raidou family is the most skilled at Shinto techniques, and that the training in order to gain the title Raidou Kuzunoha is very strict. It may be due to this that there have been multiple successors of the Raidou title to serve their term for over a century, versus the Garen family, who are noted to have had a lot of short-lived successors, though, to be fair, it is very common in their line of work. Besides the main families, there are also a wide variety of branch families that serve additional combat roles. It's been said that the Kuzunoha clan is so large that Devil Summoner society largely consists of the Kuzunoha and their branches, though to be clear, this statement is likely exaggerated. While not as prominent as the Great Summoners, some of these branch families are very notable in their own right, and similarly grant titles to their more skilled members. The most well-known example of this would be Kyoji Kuzunoha. When compared to the Great Summoner families, the Kyoji branch was established very recently, having been founded in the Taisho period after splintering from an unknown main family that specialized in Amyodo. Possibly due to this, the Kyoji branch has displayed a very wide skill set, including techniques from Amyodo, esoteric Buddhism, and feng shui, among others. However, all known members of this family are depicted as having very low spiritual power when compared to other traditional devil summoners. This means that in order to perform their duties, they have to rely on external sources. For Kyoji I, this meant manipulating the power of the earth, but for the Kyoji of the 90s, he utilized a computer device called a Gump that, when used as a medium, allowed him to mimic the abilities of a far more powerful summoner like Raidou. Another important example of a branch family is Reihos. Unlike the families discussed so far, Rei's is unique in that her family may not be related to the original 5 Kuzunoha. Due to this, her family is what's referred to as a subordinate branch family as opposed to simply branch like Kyoji's. As the name implies, Rei's family has served the Kuzunoha for generations, and it's even said that the fates of the two group summoners are intrinsically tied. This family has made a name for themselves through their use of Shinto techniques as shrine maidens. In practice, their role is to assist and protect the members of higher-ranked Kuzunoha families, and their abilities can only be used in service of that goal, not even for their own self-defense. Finally, there are also those in the clan who contribute without directly engaging in combat themselves. For instance, the clan has their own blacksmiths, who can forge magical swords for slaying demons. This shows that no matter their individual abilities, the Kuzunoha clan strives to protect the peace and prosperity of Japan, be it in the past, present, or future. In order to facilitate this, many members of the Kuzunoha work directly with the government, like Raidou. This often requires them to hide their true identities as devil summoners, with some choosing to disguise themselves as detectives who specialize in abnormal or even supernatural problems. This occupation also serves the added benefit of being a space where younger Kuzunoha summoners can train and expand their skill set. But this is a very restrictive role. Active Kuzunoha summoners are often required to be accompanied by supervisors, such as Goto Doji. Madame Ginkgo's role as the watchdog of the Kuzunoha may be in reference to this. The Kuzunoha's main adversaries are the Phantom Society, a devil summoner organization that has existed since the dawn of human civilization. For thousands of years, Phantom has shaped and controlled the progress of human society, with the ultimate goal to offer the souls of humankind to their god, the Great One. In order to combat them, the Kuzunoha have made a wide array of associates, such as the infamous Victor Frankenstein, an occult scientist adept in alchemy. But their most important ally are the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu are another devil summoner organization with a history that rivals the Kuzunoha, who are named after a Japanese deity who takes the form of a three-legged crow. Their first appearance in recorded history was in the 7th century BCE, where they are said to have guided the legendary Emperor Jimmu to the Yamato region, where he would later establish his reign as the first emperor of Japan. Like the Kuzunoha, their chief aim is to protect the well-being of Japan, and because of this, the two groups have forged a long-standing friendship and an informal alliance. Despite Yatagarasu coordinating with a large number of devil summoner organizations across the country, only the Kuzunoha have the honor of being stationed in the imperial capital as its defender. By the time of Raidou XIV, this was a position that they had held for multiple generations. Their rendezvous point is a nameless shrine in the Shinoda Forest, far away from the urban center of the city. This location was based on the real-life Shinoda no Mori Shrine, which was featured in the original Kuzunoha Kitsune's legend, and today holds multiple artifacts related to her. For this reason, foxes are the main motif of this shrine, and it's said that the cries of foxes can be heard echoing throughout the forest even during the daytime. In front of the shrine, instead of the more common dog statues featured at shrines to ward off evil spirits, this shrine uses fox statues. Within the mouth of the left statue is a pipe, referencing Kudagitsune. Fox spirits said to be small enough to fit within tubes could be used as familiars and were the inspiration behind Raidou's summoning method. Further, these statues are not simply statues. They themselves are demons allied with the Kuzunoha, known as Uka no Mitama. This deity is notable for being identified with a very popular Japanese god, Inari Ukami, who is associated with foxes and rice cultivation. While these statues can speak, the advice given by them isn't actually spoken. The reason why their text changes as the story progresses is because its visibility is based on the viewer's ability as a devil summoner. This way, the statues appear normal for average citizens. There are many similar shrines across Japan owned by Yatagarasu used to contact their associates, and each one is customized to their respective devil summoner. So naturally, other shrines would feature different animals. The only mainstay of the nameless shrines are the lanterns. Their purpose is to represent that past them, the shrine building, is the jurisdiction of the Yatagarasu. This lantern features a very distinct design, which is not simply artwork, but text stylized to resemble crows, called Karasu Moji. These characters are often featured on talismans to protect against disasters. As for this particular lantern, there are conflicting reports about the meaning of the text, with some saying Kuzunoha and others Yatagarasu. The text itself seems to more closely resemble the kanji for Kuzunoha. However, these lanterns also make a brief appearance in Soul Hackers 2, where they can be seen by Yatagarasu members with no known connection to the Kuzunoha clan, so this could be a retcon. Since the last date a Nameless Shrine was shown was Taisho year 20, it's unclear if they're still being used. However, the Yatagarasu's cooperation with the Kuzunoha continues into the far future, with devil summoners such as Mangetsu ensuring that the well-being of Japan will always be secure.